Good morning, Ant Timpson.
Good morning, Paul.
McAvoy.
I thought we were on first names by now, but
Good morning, Ant.
good morning.
How
Paul.
are you?
I'm surprisingly good.
How's the Frightfest been treating you so far?
With kid gloves. And, no, it's been as Frightfest is. I mean, it's been too long for me to come back. It's been ages.
Yeah.
So it's been everything and a whole lot more. I mean, it's the 20th year. It's massive.
Because you were here many, many years ago, literally next door in the cinema
Yeah.
that doesn't exist anymore, the Odeon West End, where we did The Devil Dared Me To. What year was that?
6 or 7?
2006.
7 maybe, yeah.
Which is, I'd known you from before then as well. But
I
that
had
was
hair, I think, maybe.
Yeah,
back then.
yes, my hair was dark. So you're back here with your directorial debut.
I know. Paul, I said, I'm not coming back until I've made a film.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But we've obviously screened a whole bunch of your films that you've produced over the years. I mean, take us through some of those. We've had...
Let's see, ABC's.
ABC's of Death.
1, 2.
Yep.
Housebound.
Yep.
Turbo Kid.
Yep.
Deathgasm.
Yep.
Greasy Strangler.
Yep.
No.
No.
We didn't
No.
do Greasy. Well,
No,
we didn't.
no,
We went somewhere else.
I know. How dare you?
Sure, it had no decision from me.
Which kind of keys into the fact that you've produced some of the best, not the best stuff we've ever shown, but some absolutely brilliant movies that have always blown the audience away. Which is why, when a bit like Travis Stevens, when we spoke to each other about you directing a film, and I watched it, thank God it wasn't terrible, because can you?
I know.
And I'll be honest, I'll be like, you know, and didn't.
It wasn't just you, Paul. It was my wife was in the same position. As well, 'cause she hadn't seen a frame of it until the premiere. So
Wow.
All those people who were super close to me, I was very protective and didn't show anything. So
Yeah.
they all were terrified that it was going to be
Yeah,
hot
'cause
garbage.
And what's the difference now between the producing side to the directing side for you personally? I mean, why have you taken that step at this stage?
Well,
And was it different?
Yeah.
Because obviously you worked with many, many directors. Was it a different experience for you?
Absolutely.
Take us through that a little bit.
Absolutely different on every conceivable level. I mean, first of all, just the emotional attachment to the project is on another level completely. Even though, as a producer, I've always been sort of right there at the start of the project as well. Yeah. But this is just on another level, really super intense. It was far more exhilarating, completely, far more exhausting mentally, like just every type of emotional weight on you, spiritually, physically, everything is pushed to the limit, which I found absolutely fascinating, but also loved every second of it. Like even the more things were tougher and out of control, I kind of was thriving on the chaos in a little way, even though it felt like super tense at the time. I loved it, but I also thought going through the whole process that I'd probably be a much better producer now.
That's exactly what I was going to ask you, because that's
yeah.
obviously, are you now more sympathetic?
Absolutely.
Possibly to the
Absolutely. I heard all those conversations that used to come out of my mouth, and
you're like, why did I say that?
Now I know why they were fucked off. So, and you just, you can become so much more sympathetic in terms of, but also I still had that producer cap somewhere like underneath the other cap.
Sure.
So it was, I had to kind of make sure that wasn't at the forefront, like that thinking process, because you have to just get in deep and focus on what you need to get and stop thinking about all those sort of extraneous things that are normal producer issues. But it was hard to push them aside, because in my brain it was constantly like, I've got to make days, but that's not my, it is part of my, in my canon as a director, but it's like other people's responsibilities. They should be looking after that as much, and I should be really focusing on whatever is in front of the lens. And
now, obviously, we had Come Study as the opening film of Frightfest, and it played an absolute storm. For the folks that haven't seen it, give a little bit of background, to the personal reasons why you made the film and what the film's about.
Yeah, well, not to get too heavy on such a light show, a light chat show that this is. The whole film came about my dad dropping dead in front of me, which was traumatic and troubling. But I went through a very strange grieving process. Well, it felt strange to me, where his partner thought it'd be great for his embalmed corpse, which was embalmed by her ex-husband, dad's cricketing friend, which just for added weirdness on top of everything. So the body came back and lived with us, and they lived stayed with us in the house
yeah.
for about 5 days or so. And my siblings came and went, but I spent most of the nights with Dad alone, with me up in his room, wearing his pajamas and doing all these things and trying to go down and have conversations with him, because that's what you see in movies, where fathers and sons are supposed to connect, and you're supposed to have these chats where everything that you didn't say before they left, you know, you get it off your chest. But I just ended up staring at this vehicle there that just was soulless, and you know, I didn't get all those answers that I had. And so, to cut a long story short, that's where the germination of the whole idea sort of came into gear, is about like unanswered questions between fathers and sons. What about dark pasts that come back to, you know, to the present day, which was inspired by the people who came and paid respect during the day to my dad, and they were friends and family and relatives and people I knew, but there were also people that had these convoluted, rich histories of my father that I had no idea about, like incredible stories, good stories and everything. But I thought later on, when I was trying to process the whole thing, I thought, oh, imagine if it was there was a dark history, and then those people, when they came back, they weren't people I wanted to meet or hang out with, and like, what could they bring? And so I wanted to make it like a tribute to him, and also I felt like life's short, I'm going to cark it. I started off as a filmmaker, I've been supporting all these other people's dreams. What about my dreams? Let's get back into that.
Yep.
And so it was a huge impetus just to get things, get trying or get dying, was basically my motto. And I wrote to Toby, the co-writer of The GREASY STRANGLER, and I said, I've got this skeleton idea. Let's make this little intimate, spooky thing based on this. And then he came back with this crazy, you know, wild genre thing, and I was
it does take a lot of wild and crazy turns. I mean, the film is, again, zero spoilers, but it develops into areas you never think it's going to go into. The cast is absolutely fantastic. So take us through the key members of the cast.
Elijah Wood.
Yeah, incredible.
It's a father-son reunion story that goes a bit south in an isolated cabin. So Elijah plays the son, Stephen McHattie plays the dad.
The great Stephen McHattie as well.
We've got people like Donovan, Michael Smiley, Madeleine Sami popping up throughout the film.
Terrific cast. Was
amazing
cast.
cast.
Was it the dream cast? Was it the ones you specifically wanted?
You know, the casting is so... And Elijah was on board. It was written for him.
Right.
So it might not have been made if he didn't love it.
Right.
So we put all our eggs in the basket thinking, this is Elijah. It's just like...
the dream. Elijah is such... As you know, we've known him for many, many years, but he's such a genre fan, and he knows it inside out.
He got it.
You know,
he got it.
You know, and he obviously trusted and knew you.
He loved that aspect that
he
it was,
knew your work, so he knew he was in safe hands with you. You know?
Yeah, and that was a big part of it. It wasn't just because he loved the role and he loved the script, but it was really him wanting to support me and like this personal connection that I had, and like living my dream that's been to make a film for so long. He was just like, as a mate, just like all on board, which I just felt,
which is great.
And I felt so much pressure
again,
now as well.
He had to trust you. Like with us watching it, he kind of knew or hoped that you'd deliver a great film. Which and
I never asked him like if he was ever worried that it was going to go off the rails or anything. But yeah, so once he came on board, it really picked up steam. But casting is really weird. It just ends up like it's alchemy, you know.
Yeah.
Like you can never really predict how it's all going to gel, and it's just, I think we got super lucky, really, really lucky.
So when can folks see this? When's it going to be released? Either in the States, obviously it's coming out in the UK through the Frightfest Presents label in association with Signature in Q1
I think it's
next year.
Yeah, I think it's all going to be tried to like tie in for like a global, kind of close to release all over the show. Right. So the US will be similar to, once they kick into gear, you guys will kick into gear here, and same in Australia and down under. So February maybe.
So watch this space. If you haven't seen it, you must see it.